Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one's going to be the daily news, Friday daily news, live at 2. Um, it's also, this is the what I'm going to be doing on Fridays now, Prizewall breakdown, event breakdown. But I figured I would do my club store claim and the bonus pull from the club store, so you guys can see those for you degenerates that like to see that. I mean, that would have been awesome for a ton of people. I already have mommy. Really, I think the only thing in here I'm missing is Julia, and Austin. So there was no way I was going to get anything I didn't have. Not a good loot for me. That doesn't mean it's a bad loot. Um, While we're at it, might as well just check this. So featured is 5, and mega rare is 1 on a 7 pull guaranteed. And it's mostly for Julia on the featured, right? You get 5. It's almost for sure shards, right? You get her in her gear without it, but it's basically just for Julia. So if you typically recruit the S tier, this is maybe not the best loot to pull. Otherwise, 7 pull is a mega rare guaranteed. Let's see what we have in there. Odds wise, what a 40 pull doesn't, you wouldn't normally get a featured, right? So you'll likely get 5 featured if you're lucky, maybe 6 if you're super lucky, maybe 7 of the Julia ones. So mega rare is almost 1 in 5. So there should be a decent amount of mega rares. More like 1 in 4, I guess. But so Jacqueline is great. Indy's great. These ones you probably already all have, right? Yeah. Abby's really good. Pretty great, actually. Finish the story. Cody's pretty great. His shards have been all over, though, so you probably, most people are getting really close or have them already. Jacob's great. They just sold him for 20 bucks. He's also on the prize wall. McCool's great. Becky was A tier. She's amazing, actually. DK Cena, his shards have been everywhere, but he's great. Liv is really good. Mommy's insane. Ilya's insane. Naya's insane. So this is kind of a mixed bag. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of pretty good stuff in here, but there's a lot in here, and there's some really big dookie stuff. I mean, really big dookie stuff. So, which is going to be heavily weighted towards. So I wouldn't plan on hitting anyone big in there, but you never know. It could happen. Rares 30%, but there's also shards, which I typically like. Some useful ones too, but there's a lot of them. Actually, the shards aren't too bad on this tier. This tier is not bad. That's not too bad. I'm not actually hating this loot. Let's see, is there shards in the commons? There are. DK 300. 100. I actually kind of think this one's okay-ish. Alright. Depending, right? So for me, it would be terrible, because Austin's the only thing I'm missing in Julia, and I'll get Julia just by playing this month, right? Like, so for me, it's a terrible loot. But in general, if you're missing a lot of that stuff, especially if you're close shard on a lot of these, it doesn't look terrible to me when I look at it. So there's that. Now let's kind of go over the event points. Then there's some really good offers, by the way, so you'll want to stick around for offer review. Some surprising offers. But we'll talk about that. But we'll start with the solo event. As we do. And let's see, we got the faction feud contest. Will we start there? No, we'll do that when we cover Prizewall coins. Yeah, because it's individual, no faction event, it looks like. So there's that. We'll just go ahead and claim these. Nothing interesting there. So yeah. Scott's got it here on the left, tours. And this was taken from Discord. So this is assuming the official champions Discord was accurate. 6,090,000 in tours. Sunday Blitz, the Discord said 650,000 max. That's 520,000 less than last month. So if that's accurate, you're going to get 520,000 less points than normal. I don't know if that's accurate or not. They didn't add them anywhere else in the Discord stuff. War scored leaderboard up to 4 million. Just assume very little. You know, because your name is not One True King. And then portal free claims 80,000, a little bit, not terrible. CSS up to 450,000, they're brutal. So just assume you won't get most of that. We can look at that, and we will. So total free 6.82 million, which is exactly the final free milestone. But that also means having all of the CSS from the tours and getting all of the Blitz tickets. So it definitely is no longer a final free milestone, in my opinion. If they did change to that, it's a free-ish. You need a big account and you have to feud to the max milestone, which is not really doable for a lot of people. So keep that in mind. There's also extra free points if you get the 7 loot pull on the Prizewall. But let's kind of look at this here in the solo event. Bronze chest, 20 Alistair Black shards. 20 Alistair Black shards. Honestly, the 20 Alistair Black shards. The chests suck. So, like, there's nothing really good in here. Alistair Black is terrible anyway. His coach, we already have a bunch of negative 1 MP guys, so I don't think his coach is good, personally. It's just more of what we have. He's not good. And really, you're just doing this for the Rusev tokens, to be honest. So up to this point, which if it requires maxing the war score and getting all of the blitz bags to do this, this is probably the worst solo event I've ever seen. Before the bonus. Just throwing that out there. Even if you get into the bonus, I mean, do you really care if you had to feud all of that? I mean, you don't get you get one at 6.9 million, so that's 400,000. What's it? No, only 150. It's 150,000 more. So maybe, I mean, but it's one medallion, right? And then these are just whatever, some tokens. Yay. And then one more here in 45 black shards at 7. It just tier 5 metals in Alistair Black shards. Like, what? You don't get any Julia shards in the Julia weekend event until 7.2 million on the bonus. So that's like 400,000 past it. So that's not great. If those 520,000 points are missing, you know, you need all the CSS. Then 2 more there at 7.4, 4 here. So you're gonna have to decide like how far you push. And Scott's got that breakdown on the right? So 7.4 here. It would be 16 Prizewall medallions with maxing the war score and going all the way to here. So just keep that in mind when we get to the Prizewall. It actually is starting to look kind of brutal when you take that 520k out. So hopefully they're wrong, right? And then you see start to see a spike at 7.8 million where you jump up to like 27 from 7 there. Then they get really good again from here on out. They're all fine. Final milestone has Julia and her gear, so that part is really good. But let's be realistic here. If this is the free milestone, you need another 4.1 million points beyond that to get that. And that's a lot of spending to get that many points, because here's where your bonus points come from. 9,000. So let's just say you don't get first in feud. 4.1 million divided by 9,000. That's 455 megapulse. Of course, you would subtract 100,000 if you add EO. 50,000 if you had Jacqueline, 50,000 with Mommy, 50,000 with Abby, but most of you guys are only going to add 100,000, you know, with these two at best, right? At best, and you might not add any of them. So yeah, 455 megapulse is like 11 or 12 megas. So it's not looking great. Now, as for this, let's check the leaderboard. 4 million for first, 3 million for second. You still would have to spend a crap ton to max it, even if you got second. So 2 people in the game could maybe max it. This one probably max it free-ish. One true would max it free. Second, gonna have to spend a ton. Third's really gonna have to spend, and then it just drops drastically, right? So any illusions of how much this helps for like maxing it, you can just throw that out the window. Um, at 100, it's 394,000 points. So is that really going to be worth it for what you can get in Prizewall currency? Instead of 12 at 6.82, you get to 7.2. You wouldn't even get to 16, and you'd have to be in the top 100 and feud a lot. Just go enjoy your weekend. It's not worth it. Anyway, so yeah. As for the milestones that make sense, unfortunately in this one, the medallions go all the way to 450 million. So if you want the 12 medallions, you basically have to go the whole way anyway. So there's no good place to stop. You have to go to 450 million, and if you're only 50, 450 million. If you're only 50,000, whatever, 50 million away, you may as well just get the last 3 tickets in the chest at that point. So there's no good spot to stop before that, really, because 350 is 3 of them. But well, you'll see when we get to the prize wall. You'll see what I mean. So the scoring just looks really bad to me. I mean, I've done a few of these for a while. Again, thank you, Scott, for doing the breakdown. Really appreciate it. It just looks really currently bad, and I hope I'm wrong, but it looks bad. 37 medallions, you ain't getting that. You need more than 8.1 million. So you're spending a lot. You're just not getting these. So Austin continues to be grossly overpriced. This seems super expensive for Kamala shards, to be honest. Howdy, if you don't have Howdy and you get 31, yeah, go for it. That's awesome. EO 27, you're not going to get there anyway, probably 7.8 million. That's a million bonus points to get to the EO shards. They're high quantities, so I don't mind the pricing necessarily, but there just doesn't seem like a very good path to it without doing a mega's worth of pulls minimum or more. Because so 40 is only 360,000 points, by the way. So you can't just do a raw mega pull. You have to buy a deal on the portal, get bonus spend points, right? All that kind of stuff. Mommy at 200. So I'm going to try to actually give you my thoughts on the value of these, because right now I'm stuck on the scoring and it looking crappy and no one going to get much of anything, right? So if you can get 12, you can get some Penta shards, some Bray shards, some McCool shards, Devon, in these, right? Mercy the Buzzard is actually very good tech. I think this is an awesome price. Braun is a super needed trainer. Yellow MP and 2 multiplies that gold. Andy's a really solid fighter, so I love the pricing there. I don't like Jade at all. I don't like her for anything, actually. She never gets used unless she's a requirement. She's a requirement often, though. But I don't think... I think she's terrible in comparison to other lady showboats. There's so many more that are so much better, and her training ability is not one I ever use. So, like, these are much, much better choices. And then McCool, like, blows her out of the water, 300 for 9, just way, way better. So, like, these, all 4 of these are pretty good. Bray, not so much anymore. I mean, he can be good, but there's so many good strikers. He's definitely usable, but I would focus on other more important stuff, either trainers, or more betterer fighters, right? Penta falls into the acro category for me of people that are usable, but I don't like personally, right? I much prefer Devon by a mile, but I have all the stuff you need for Devon. So yeah, I don't really care for Penta. He's fine though, right? He's completely usable. Love Muda, actually quite a bit. So, big on Muda. The pricing's not terrible for how rare he's been. So if you can get Muda, that's great. But again, 17 Prizewall tokens is going to be no walk in the park, right? Especially if the blitz scoring is off, like I think. So Rex Regum is great, but there's other better male showboats now too, but he's still very good. So I don't mind those. The mommy are a steal. Absolutely, that's probably Mommy and McCool are probably my 2 favorite shard pricings on the wall. Mercy the Buzzard probably next. Abby the Witch isn't bad, and this isn't bad, right? These are all the same-ish. They're all fine-ish. They're just so expensive for what they are. The straps completely not worth the price point at all, like in my opinion, right? Maybe the ultimate affiliation if that's all you can get. Honky Tonk says check out his new entourage. When I looked, it still hadn't been updated. I'm assuming it's more a higher version of what he has. So there's that. Mic drop is great if you get to 30, but you're gonna have to spend a lot to get to 30. So I assume you probably already have it, and to me, it's not worth spending strictly to get this. Maze Crown at 15 is fine if you get there, right? But again, if you can recruit someone like Muda or McCool, I think that's probably better in this case than a Maze Crown that's been available often. Black Transfusion's very specific, and Leech People, there's not a lot of good ones, so I don't really put much value on this. The loopholes are what they are. If it gets you milestones, maybe you hit something they're good, and the econ is like kind of terrible. Although Starfill frags, if this was Showboat, I would be all over these on my free-to-play to fill Santa Hogan, so those are always worth mentioning at 1. I would get this over the other econ, to be honest. I think that's by far the best when there's Starfill frags. Yeah, it's actually a really great shard Prizewall, except for the fact it looks like it's going to be almost impossible to get to the token counts for most of them. Like the only thing I need on my account is Austin, and I'll never get there, and this one isn't worth spending for me. And my free-to-play isn't close to any of them. So I would probably think about Honky Tonk Man just to fill the defensive slot at 6-star silver in boss battle, to be honest, on the free-to-play, if I get to 7, which I don't think I will. So there's that. Mherex, I probably will just take the Black Transfusion, and if I get enough, the Russell Island loot coins, just on the outside chance that I get some shards of Julia or Austin. And this, I don't have any plans to use it anywhere on my entire roster, so yeah, I mean, like, it's fine. Like, if you need these, they're really good. You know, this is maybe worth pushing for, like for Muda and stuff, if it recruits somebody for you. Even if you don't get Mommy, like maybe pushing a little bit to get to 20 to that 7-6 milestone is worth it, right? But again, it also, everything depends on that blitz and how much you want to feud, to be honest. So keep that in mind. It just looks to me like for the average player, if you're watching this and you're an average player, you're just not going to get very many Prizewall medallions this one. You're going to miss the top 7 probably for sure, the last 4 medallions. So you're going to get at best 8 most likely. So what you're really looking at is potentially the loot pulls, Honky Tonk Man, or maybe recruiting, you know, one of these. Maybe. It looks pretty rough. So that's just how I see it. Let me know what you guys think about that. And the Prizewall. So from here for the news, let's go to the offers, because that's the good news. They actually have some great offers. I'm not big on buying hype. This is a really good hype offer, because you're going to get 10 wildcard hype. That takes anyone you want to level 1 out of here. And then you're going to get 10 individuals. So this one set of 10 for this, by the way. 10 individual ones, and then you get a 10 pull. I don't hate it, but it's still $20 for a lot. I'm not going to buy it. And I spend a lot, and I'm not buying it. Indy Hartwell for 40 with 4,000 shards. Indy's great, but I would at the very least say she's great only if you have the moment that's not the feud moment, the Summer of Champions moment for her. If you have the moment and her gear, then she's the best Lady Acrobat in the game still to this day, in my opinion. If you don't have that, maybe debatable. If you have at least the moment, I think she's still pretty good. I have a bunch of videos on her you can check out, but I don't mind that offer. Maxine at 6-star gold with 8 loopholes for $25. A big fan of this. You guaranteed 6-star gold. Like, if I was newer to the game, I didn't have 6-star gold ladies, I would for sure. That's the kind of thing I would buy, right? Bull Nakano at 6-star silver. If again, could help for boss battle on newer accounts. Plus, you get the loopholes. She's kind of like the bonus, right? So I like that offer. Tiffany, this one. So this is actually really important, guys, because she's defensive acrobat. 6-star silver. If you have her at 6-star silver and she's star filled, you can buy this for $7 and she'll convert straight to, should be 7,000 shards. Actually 6-star silver, 5, yeah, should convert to 7,000 shards. So do like that one. Plus it comes with the pulls. Hall of Fame Molly Holly. Again, if you missed her, newer account, that's one of the better Hall of Famers you can use for ladies. So at 6-star silver, either way, they'll both help you. All these would help you for boss battle. Check their styles to see if they're ones you need. But you get the pulls in the cards bonus, so they're all great. I think they have really good value, to be honest. Shocking, but I like all of those offers. I know. The starter packs, whatever. 250 a pull, some bonus points. You know, same thing, 250 a pull, bonus points. Feud medallion specials, early bird, one-time offer. This is assuming you know where you're going to get. You can get some of the medallions cheaper. I hate these, personally. Shard packs, also not horrible. 500 Trish shards with 10 pulls. You get the pulls, the bonus Trish shards. It's kind of when I talk about, like, guaranteed, right? If this recruits Trish for you, I could see wanting it for sure. Pretty good value. Same thing, Liv. She's bonus with the pulls, so I don't mind either of those, especially if they recruit him. Jacqueline is showing 1 shard. No idea how many it is. It's $100. I'm gonna assume it's probably 100, but I don't know that. Like mommy, these are way harder to swallow because the shards aren't super high, and so you're not. It's a very small guarantee, so not as big a fan of those personally. But it's better than getting nothing guaranteed. Free claim for Zelina Vega, so make sure you do that. Do your daily speed tour as well. And then, you know, claim your daily bag. So we also have some new tours today. Part of, I think they're trying to push Julia super hard here, is if you get Julia, you apparently get a visceral visage plate, which is pretty nice for those that get her. And red reinforcement, that's not so nice, but it's okay. Red's one of the better colors for it, but universal is way better. Some tokens, that one's not really a big deal. A bunch of solo points, so that's Julia. Challenge tour, I haven't looked at this yet, by the way. Modern era is great. Just win with any modern era, so that's great. Use your best, lady, right? Modern era again, not restricting class. Oh, it is. Okay, so technician, right? Just use your best tech on this one. For me, it's probably modern era is going to be Charlotte, I assume, or Liv, depending what I'm feeling. This one's probably what? Trickster. Alexa comes to mind as a really good one for that. And then we have, this is probably Powerhouse since she's Powerhouse. Nope, it's Acrobat. So modern Acrobat there. Not too bad for the challenge tours because it's modern. Modern's the easiest era to have. And then we have High Tide, which is any of these. So Zelina they gave out for the lower ones. Bex, Jade, right? McCool, Maxine, they're selling. I'll use McCool on Mherex or Bex. Both are great. And then Fun in the Sun, you got EO, new one. Trickster, Raquel, Judgment Day, Trish, and Chelsea Green. So they're okay. The CSS, they're not amazing. They could be a little bit better. Could be worse. But yeah, daily speed tour, get it done. Nothing else expiring. So I think we'll call that for the news with the event breakdown and stuff. Interesting. I'm really curious what you guys think. To me, this seems like a really tough Prizewall currency to get. That if those blitz points are missing, are not there, and it is indeed that much less, that's really expensive to make up, right? If they are there, then that kind of changes the whole tone, because then instead of maybe getting 8, you guys are more like getting 12, 13, right? Then you might get enough that it's worth it to push to get all of the bags in Blitz. That's why it was worth it before to push, because you get enough Prizewall medallions to get something useful. And so I think a lot will depend on that, to be honest. I'm really curious what you guys think, but on paper, that 520,000 not made up anywhere looks pretty terrible to me. So I'm curious what you guys think there. Yeah, so for me, I am just going to do the CSS, like all of the era, just looking at it, what I can get. I'm just going to do all of the era and the ones I have CSS for, and then just quit feuding. Like, I'm not even going to try and hit a specific milestone. Don't care about maxing the Blitz. I'm not going to get to any of the Julia shards. I don't care about the Alistair Black shards. There's literally no incentive for me to play, other than just do the bare minimum. So, and my free-to-play, there's nothing I really want, to be honest, so I'll just do enough to help the faction a little bit, but this is going to be a super light feud for me. I think, honestly, strangely enough, the best thing is the offers with the guaranteed stuff to me. So, yeah, very curious what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed the daily news. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that really helps me out. On that, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck out there. Yeah, kind of lame. I don't know. If that 520,000 points isn't there, it's just really bad. If it is there, then it's significantly better, but still, you know, you got to be able to do it, right?